Your body wants to be healthy and will fight every day to be healthy. But sometimes, as you know, our lifestyles get in the way. Without knowing it, we activate genes that accelerate aging and stimulate hormones that lead to cancer and other chronic diseases. We damage or kill our own cells, which then hang around in our bodies and negatively impact essential metabolic functions and organ health. However, by making a few key changes to our nutrition and our lifestyles, we first can stop the damage, then ultimately activate a series of restorative processes I call renewal engines. Meet Dr. Rhonda Patrick. She's a genius who basically spends her time studying how nutrition and lifestyle factors influence a person's genetic expression, metabolic health, and their risk for chronic disease. Her greatest skill is the ability to translate complex biological mechanisms into simple language you and I can understand, and then, hopefully, act on.
So not only does a bad diet affect the way you age in terms of obesity, type 2 diabetes, etc., but it can also affect the way your children and grandchildren age through epigenetics. So epigenetics refers to changes in gene expression without actually altering the DNA nucleotide sequence. So we can actually measure changes in gene expression in the lab. When a gene is turned on, it's active, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Those are indicated in red. When a gene is turned off, it's still there, but it's not active. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's almost as if it wasn't there. Those are indicated in green. And epigenetics are these little molecules like methylation and acetylation groups. They sit on top of your DNA and they turn genes on and they turn genes off. And here's the real kicker. These little marks, these epigenetic marks, they're regulated by your diet, by what micronutrients you're eating. They're regulated by how much exercise you're doing, by how much stress you're under, by how much sleep you get. So these things are changing your gene expression, and they can hitchhike on to the sperm and egg DNA and be passed on to your children and grandchildren.
We aren't helpless. Of course, we can't change the genes we were born with. However, we can influence which of our genes are expressed. Most of the genes that kill us only get activated by bad nutrition and poor lifestyle. Conversely, almost all the genes that save us and help keep us healthy can become activated by good nutrition and a healthy lifestyle. All of that is within our control, and at least 70 to 90% of all chronic diseases are preventable by the choices we make. Genes are not destiny. Genetic expression is destiny. And most of that we control.
Even something as complex as learning and memory can be regulated by your environment. So this study was published in the Journal of Neuroscience a few years ago, where researchers took mice that were genetically engineered to get neurodegenerative disease. And they put these mice in an enriched environment. An enriched environment consisted of all these toys, sort of like exercise toys, that stimulated various regions of the brain, the visual, motor, somatosensory regions of the brain. And what they found was that these mice, even though they're genetically engineered to get a dementia type of neurodegenerative disease, they scored better on learning and memory tests. And they found the reason for that is because the exercise and the stimulating the different regions of the brain increase the expression of genes involved in long-term potentiation. That's what happens between the synapses that occur between two neurons when you're forming a memory during the learning process.
Lifestyle directly changes genetic expression. Every choice you make influences how well your brain functions, how much pain and inflammation you experience, your overall energy levels, your risk for cancer and heart disease, and even the rate of DNA damage, which directly impacts how quickly your body ages.
Telomeres are tiny caps at the end of your chromosomes that are protecting your DNA from DNA damage. They're protecting your DNA from unwinding. And they're a biomarker for aging. So every cell in your body has your chromosomes. And when your cell divides, every year your telomeres get shorter and shorter and shorter. So eventually, there's no telomeres left. And when that happens, your cell doesn't know what to do, so it goes into like a permanent state of retirement. So it just stops doing what it usually does, or it just dies. And so this is terrible when you're talking about stem cells, because when their telomeres get shortened, then you don't have any stem cells left to replete the populations of other tissues in your body. So telomere length's a biomarker for aging. The older you are, the shorter your telomeres are. The younger you are, the longer your telomeres are. Well, it's been found in twins that those twins with the highest levels of vitamin D have the longest telomeres compared to those twins with the lowest levels of vitamin D. In fact, those levels corresponded to 5 years of biological aging. So even though they were the same chronological age, those twins that had the lowest levels of vitamin D, their cells looked 5 years older.
Telomeres are a marker for aging. The longer and stronger your telomeres are, the younger your body is. You cannot change the day you were born, any more than you can change the genes you were born with. But just as you can change which genes are expressed, you can also influence how old your body is, not chronologically, but biologically. By controlling nutrition and micronutrients, things like vitamin D, magnesium, and sulforaphane, you help keep your body young, strong, and pain-free. You do this by consistently limiting processed foods and maximizing the amount of plants in your diets, especially leafy greens. The food you choose to eat is the most important thing. The next best is exercise.
Exercise also regulates telomere length. So in twins, those that are the most physically active have the longest telomeres compared to those that are the most sedentary. And that corresponded to 10 years of aging. So get your exercise. And really, this raises the question that there may be a difference between chronological age and biological age based on your diet and your lifestyle. You may have someone who looks biologically younger, even though their chronological age is older, and the opposite is also true.
By living our lives in a way that activates our renewal engines, things like autophagy and genetic expression, we can help our bodies save us, keep us healthy and strong year after year. None of this guarantees that we won't get cancer, or brain diseases, or high blood pressure. 10% of health is pure luck, but the other 90% is habits. It's how you live. It's the choices you make. And that's empowering, because it puts you in control of your own life. Most life-threatening diseases do not happen to us. In some cases, yes, but on balance, we earn the futures we get.